Don't condone anything that goes against the 1976 Animal Welfare Act. Butch was a big old dog. He was hard to hold on the end of the rope and drive the truck too. Butch would go to hunting. Every night he would pick up 4 to 6 frogs and hold them between his front teeth until he sucked the juice out of them. At the end of work every night, he would have 4 or 5 frogs in his mouth at one time. He wouldn't pick one up and drop it. He would have them all in his mouth at the end of his work. Maurice said, "God damn, son. We don't have to worry about no rub. If that son of a bitch can bite into that, we don't have to worry about nothing they put on us." We tried working him during the daytime to see if he could take the heat, but he couldn't take the heat there in San Antonio that time of year. So we'd make him work about 12 o'clock at night until daylight, at the peak of his work. We got the old dog ready. This is the first time steroids were ever used on a dog. I introduced them to Maurice. I learned about it at the racetrack. I said not to be spreading the word about this. It's kind of a secret weapon. First thing I know, he had told Bobby Hall, told everybody in the country for that matter. That's when the steroid kick started catching on. I got to visit a lot of people while I was out there. You could see anybody from the sheriff down to the local Mexican. Anybody and everybody was welcome at Maurice's house, except for a select few he wouldn't let come around. Met Ray Long, Old Man Creole down there. I want to say one thing. It's been wrote in that Grady Cummings came down to visit while Maurice and I was working Butcher Boy. I have never met Grady in my life, and he damn sure didn't come to visit me and Maurice. He's such a know-it-all on everything. I just wanted to get that out in the open. That Grady Cummings was not there, and that's the truth. Me and Butcher Boy got along good, and I really thought a lot of him. Wish I had 100 like him. Fight day rolls around. We got down there, and Maurice was trying to get up his bet. David Taylor was supposed to take part of the bet. I had 200 or 300 I wanted to put on Butch. But Maurice, he had to see what David was going to do. Maurice asked David, and David said to let him think about it. Maurice said, "Son, if you snooze, you lose," and asked me if I wanted it, and I said, "Hell, yes." Weighed and washed the dogs, and Norman was taking the dog to the pit. As he was going through, the crowd was separating for him. You know how they'll do. They open up for you and close right in behind you. Well, Maurice was behind Norman, and I was behind Maurice. Maurice was kind of grabbing people by the shoulder and making his way through the crowd. This old boy said, "Why don't you slap that 60-year-old hippie for grabbing you that way?" He said, "Man, shit, that's Maurice Carver. You'd be crazy to slap that man. He'd shoot a hole in you big enough to drive a truck through." Maurice had been telling me all the bite would be over in 45 minutes, and it was for Sampson. But about that time, Butcher Boy came up and put the monster stomp on Sampson. After the fight, a little trouble broke out between a couple boys over doctoring old Sampson. Needless to say, both dogs died after the fight. We got Butcher out and doctored him up. We had him moving around a little bit, even got his kidneys to move a little bit. But we still lost him. He went into shock. The night before the fight, Earl Tudor called Maurice and told Maurice, "Son, I hear you're a terrible underdog." Maurice said, "That's what I hear too." Earl told them not to underestimate you, that you had been pulling the underdog out from under the hat for the last 40 years. The rest of the story everybody knows. Butcher Boy won the match in 1 hour and 25 minutes. I rode down there and back with Norman, and I never saw anybody love a dog more than Norman loved that dog. A lot of folks would have just left their dog there, but not Norman.